This podcast contains explicit language. Hey, this is Mike from 424recording.com, and I just want to say if you're a fan of the podcast or channel, please consider supporting us at patreon.com/424recording. For as little as $1 a month, you'll get exclusive rewards and help keep this podcast mattress ad-free. Support us at patreon.com/424recording. Hello and welcome to 424 Recording, a podcast featuring interviews with musicians, artists, YouTubers, and other creatives about the creative process. We're also talking all things music, especially in the punk, grunge, bedroom, and indie rock genres. This is Mike from 424recording.com, and this week's episode is part 2 of my chat with YouTuber and musician Noir at Blanc Vie. In the second part of this 2-part series, we get into the importance of having a support system as a creative, embracing your uniqueness as an artist and individual, and why Twix is Steven's dream channel sponsor. Here's part 2 of my conversation with Noir at Blanc Vie.
There are things that I do that work that just can't be done as fast as maybe people want them to be done, right? Like,
well, that's
a
the
great
James
synth
Rolfe
mystery
thing too. Yeah,
a great synth mystery video. While that didn't take forever, it took like 2 weeks of me not just pulling down stuff,
researching.
I used some clips and I had to write those people and wait for them to write me back.
Oh, right, yeah.
You know, I wanted to use their clip, and you know, all they said was like, "Oh, I'll give you, you know, a shout out or whatnot," right?
Sure.
But it was so important that I got those specific clips.
The permission, yeah.
Yeah, because they were the perfect ones, like, on the internet.
Yeah, and they really succinctly, like, kind of like you're saying, the quote you said, like, really sums up. You can see exactly where Kemper's coming from.
Yes, yeah. I needed those things in the places where they were, and I couldn't have what I couldn't have was like a different clip. It wouldn't tell as good of a story if I had a different clip. So there's all these things where, okay, well, I can't release one every month or something. It takes time. And then the same.
And that's
with
what makes it
else.
special too. You know, it's like, because like, and then you may not like water it down, but you know, like the fact that you have to put out something in like a very specific structure, and then trying to fit something into that structure every week or every month. Like I feel like that's, like I was saying, like the James Rolfe AVGN thing. It's like, those are great because he takes his time and you know, they come out when they come out. And maybe if he tried doing one, I know there at one point he was doing like 2 a month, and even he said that was like insane, like just doing 2. And it's like, you know, the quality of them would probably suffer, you know. Well, absolutely, would 100% would suffer, you know.
And you're right. It wouldn't be as soon as it stops being a labor of love and it starts to be,
I just got to churn these out. Yeah.
Like, just got to turn this out. That's what happened back in 2017. Like, it became, it was this weird promise I made on the video. I said, I told them I would do 1 a week, sometimes 2 a week. And then I remember being like, you know, like getting up and staying, like I would stay awake until like 6 a.m.
Oh my God.
Making a video just so I could get it out.
Yeah.
You know? I
mean, deadlines are great, tired. You know, but
yeah, it's not like I'm making money, like, you know, from, you know, okay, I won't say that, but you know, I get a couple $100 a month off of ad revenue. That's not a bad thing, but it's also not, maybe it's not worth staying up till 6 a.m.
Right. I mean, you were saying like some of the videos, it's taking you 30, 40 hours from door to door completion, right? I think you were saying at some point.
I would say like some videos are easy. Some videos are like,
right, like,
like the top 5 synths or the top 3 synths I wish I could have bought or something. Some video I did. That was easy. That took, you know, I wrote it in an hour. I shot it in like an hour, and then finding all the footage and editing it took maybe like 4 hours, right? So that was like 6-hour video. 6-hour video for me seems easy. Like I can schedule that out in 1 day.
Sure.
No problem. But a video like Great Synth Mysteries, it's like you keep turning over another stone, and then every stone that you turn over, you say, well, how should I fit this in? Like, where should it go? And then you're finding the footage, and you're writing the people, and then you're choosing the music, and then you're making sure that you tune the music so that you don't get copyright strikes. And then, you know what I'm saying? It becomes this whole much longer thing. So yeah, like a video like A Great Synth Mystery takes, you don't think it does, but it takes like probably, about 30 hours to find all the footage, write it, do the research, you know.
Yeah.
And then you think of things on different days. It's not just sit down and do it like a job. It's like, you have to create a narrative out of something that may not have a narrative. And yeah, the Eurorack series. Anytime I do stop motion.
Oh, that's yeah. I wanted to ask you about that. I completely forgot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like, and that's what I get a lot of actually requests about that. It's funny. Companies like, can you do stop motion?
Yeah.
Like, can you do the stop motion to do the thing? And it's just like, well, we'll give you free press or something. It's like, you want to do the stop motion?
Yeah.
I'll give you free. You know, it's just like, come on. Let's not do this whole like exposure kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But you know, that's what I like to do. Like and I haven't actually done stop motion on the channel in a while. So now I think about it, I guess I should do something. I've been slacking on my stop motion. But that's something I like to do. So I just want to do it. Like, I don't even think about the time.
Right, exactly.
But if I'm going to like do stop motion, it's got to make me want to do it. It can't just be like some company saying, oh, you know, it would be really cool. Like, let's do this collaboration where you like do all the work and then like we
reap
think,
all the benefits.
Yeah. Like, we make you think that you're getting exposure. And it's like,
it's like I can
know
just
how to do that.
Make my own videos and get myself exposure. Like, you're coming to me to get exposure. Like, what do you think here?
Yeah, it's like, you want to hire someone to do stop motion? Cool. How about just hire me if that's what you're really trying to get at here? Like,
yeah.
So
it's like a roundabout way. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a roundabout way of thinking that like, oh, it's a collaboration. But I've grown enough, I think, now to understand the business, and I have people like Andrew and Jeremy who I talk to. I don't know if I say on a daily basis, but we have a conversation on, you know, a weekly basis about the state of where we're at. Because I mean, I'm not saying that we're like the synth YouTube ambassadors of any kind. There's so many people who are just out, like, no, look, mom, no computer, right? He's huge in terms of what he does, right? I don't have a personal conversation with Look, Mom, No Computer, but he's so in his own lane. I don't know what I could bring to him, you know, and I don't know what he could bring to me. Like, he's great because of what he does. No one else touches him on what he does. Like, that's the thing. He's so unique. But, you know, the 3 or 4 of us, we can talk about things in terms of like, what's going on and what are the new things and what do we think about some of the sort of political things in the YouTube arena and how are we navigating these as individuals. So
that's awesome. I think it's super important to have like that community of support, especially with this kind of a thing.
Yeah, I actually gained a lot of subs when it was when I was on a break too. Jeremy, like, he did a video about like synth or like YouTubers that he watches.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like the first one that he brought up because he was like, oh, everyone knows like the big ones like Andrew and DivKid, like he knows. And he's like, here's some guys that you may not know. And I remember that video came out and like I was on the break. So like my sub thing was like, whatever. It was like, you know, maybe I hit gain like, you know, 500 subs or 600 subs or whatever in the last month, which was pretty low. For me at the time. I shouldn't say those things because it sounds like fucking like an asshole.
I'm like, man, that's like a third of my viewership.
It sounds like an asshole to do these things. I don't know. Oh, it's pretty low. I gained like 500 subs.
Yeah,
like I couldn't gain 500 subs like a year.
Yeah.
But it was low. And then he, you know, because we're friends, so he didn't say he was gonna do it. He just made the video. And it's like I remember I gained like 1,800 subs, like just from that, like on not that day, but within the run of that video or whatever. And I was like, wow, like that was really great for when my channel was like on a break. Like it came at like the perfect time.
Yeah,
I hadn't made a video in like a month and a half, and that's like the hard part. I think people always, if you make videos that are just relevant to that moment, if you take a break, it seems like you've abandoned what you've been doing, right? But me, it was just like I had just been doing things all the time, whatever I felt like. And so it didn't necessarily, I don't think it felt like, well, there goes another one. Like, here's someone's going to come to replace him. Like, I hope that I sit in that place of like, no one's going to replace me in exactly what I do. You know, I mean, if in the same way as if Look Mum No Computer leaves, who's going to replace him? Who's going to do a flamethrower Eurorack modular? No one. You know, no one's going to replace him. So, I hope, even if I don't, in reality, I hope that I somehow can fit into the YouTube space in that capacity.
I feel like you already have.
Well, we shall see, I guess. I got a long way to go to where I really, really want the channel to be. You know, because I don't want it to be big in the sense of like, oh, now it's my job to make videos. Because I see how fickle it can be, right? You know?
Yeah.
You know, I look at stats and things like that, you know, and I'll see like some people's social blades, right? Where they're really hitting it, right? The guy will be doing like really good for that month. You know, maybe like 200,000-300,000 views like that month.
Whoa.
And that's like in the synth community, which is like, you know, that's like a Jeremy, like a Red Means recording kind of a thing. That's not like Andrew Huang. Andrew Huang's like, you know, he's like millions per month, right?
Well, I feel like he's like the awesome music guy.
Yeah, I would say so. I you know, hopefully he doesn't, you know, hear me say this. Maybe he will. But, you know, I don't know if I'm starstruck by him because I don't know. Because I get, you know, I'm in a like conversation with him like every day.
Yeah.
You know? But it still is weird, you know, like it's funny because I mean, I guess YouTube is the new media, the new TV for so many kids, right?
Sure.
So even though I'm a little older, I still am like, oh my God, he has 1 billion subscribers and he's talking to me. I remember like I had a conversation with him about he was coming to LA and we're like, yeah, let's like link up. And I was like, and he's like, bring synths. And I was like, what? Like,
that's awesome.
I'm gonna hang out with him. Like, that's crazy, right? Like, and yeah, I don't like to sound like that because it sounds like really lame. But I'm just saying, like,
it's like really fanboyish.
Yeah, like way too fanboyish for someone that I actually get to talk to. Like, that's probably, you shouldn't do that. But that's also speaking to how good his content is. That's not about just him as a person, me fanboying out. It's like, no, he does like good things that are like, I watch a video of Andrews and I'm like, what? Like I remember he did the Darude, like making a track, making a sandstorm out of a sandstorm, and that was just so original.
Yeah.
Like people, like he's thinking, like, and that's the thing. He's thinking on things on a different level.
Right.
Most people aren't thinking about creation on that high of a level.
Yeah, and it's like not only is he thinking about it, he's also executing it.
Yeah.
Because those are like two totally different skills.
Yeah, he's a great musician and he's a great conceptualist. Like he's conceptualizing fantastic content while also executing, you know, the delivery of it as a presenter.
Yeah.
And like there's just so many like talents there that I can totally idolize as a person, you know. And so, well, yeah, sure. Well, the fanboying out comes from like somebody with lots of a big audience being, you know, you being connected to them and talking to them. It comes from being, damn, like this guy is like, he's next level. Like, and that's the thing, right? You can't, even as a person who's just starting out, for the most part on YouTube, right? That's kind of why bigger channels stay bigger, right? It's because like most people never reach that level of being that good at presenting, which is like maybe the number one thing, execution, and then overall like content creation, meaning that like you're a good editor, you're good at the voiceover, you're good at
camera,
angles.
yeah, sound is
All of
good,
these
the
things.
lighting is good, yeah.
And it's always good for him. And what it is for him is it doesn't look like he's trying. I think for me, it looks like I'm trying, but I think I try to make it look like I'm trying. I enjoy that. But for him, you don't see it. You don't see that the lighting is really, really good. It's very flattering for him. You don't. It looks effortless, and that's why he's so popular. And I don't know how he does it. I honestly don't. It's not fair.
It's funny because I feel like if you could see your channel through how I see it, I think you would see yourself in a very similar light.
I don't know. I think maybe it's because I know what I'm doing, and so I'm like, oh, lug this light over here.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of like you can see behind. You're seeing behind the curtain how the donuts are made. So it's
yeah. When the microphone falls,
if only you could take a step back and look at it as if you were a stranger. You know, you'd be like, oh, wow.
Yeah, maybe I would. I think that's probably where I sit at, is like everyone's in their own creative space, and so when I'm looking at someone like Andrew, it's always this mystery of how did he do it?
Yeah.
Because I don't even know. Like, I know how people light rooms and things like that, but I'm never seeing. He just has such a great personality that is super natural.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, you know, you can tell that he has ideas when he's creating, like, you know, things for his videos and the things he's going to talk about it, but it comes across as just, hey, friend. Like, that's kind of what it comes off as. It's just like him saying, like, oh, hey, friend, like, and then he does the high five and everything.
Yeah, it's like super casual.
Like, yeah, you know, and that's real cool. I don't necessarily know if I think I come across sometimes as maybe like brooding a little more. He's always very friendly and like high fives. It's just very fun. Kind of like Bo. Bo's way more like fun and he's not high fiving, but he's just
not yet.
Not yet. He might, you know, he's coffee.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I might steal something like that, like milkshakes, and I don't know. I like milkshakes. I don't know.
Awesome.
I hope that I can continue to do good things to make people enjoy the channel. And I don't know if I feel like inspiration at all, but if there's anything, I always feel like I want people to just like be themselves. Like, if there's one thing that I had to learn a lot later than some people, was really just be okay with being yourself, because it's okay to not apologize for being unique in whatever it is, you know.
Yeah. And that's like with, you know, that's like as like a bookend. I think that's, you know, they always say like the things that you're best at are a collection of things that you're really good at. You know, there's always something that makes everybody unique, because it, you know, maybe I'm not the best technically visual person, but I'm pretty good at teaching, you know, and maybe I'm not the best guitar player, but I know how to get the sounds I want. And it's like, maybe my channel is not the best storytelling, but I try to incorporate what I can and those stories people like. So it's like where those things intersect, like that's where I got to live.
Yeah, no, I think that's absolutely right. You have to take all of the things that make you a unique person and accept them, and then say that, oh, those things are the strengths.
Yeah, where those intersect, that's where you can be the best.
Yeah,
because there's nobody else has that same makeup. We're all like have different talents, come from different places, have different ideas about what makes a great shot and what's great lighting, and you know. That's where I've been trying to live too. So
that's exactly what I told my mom when she asked one time about like the channel. She's like, "How has it been doing?" and things like that. I said, "Mom, you know what the funny thing was years ago when I was in college, all kinds of things I would doubt myself for. You know, like I wasn't able to play fast enough, or I wasn't, you know, I didn't know all of the chords as fast as I could, right? And then I left college and I was like, I'm a pretty good like piano player, like keyboard player, right? Most people would be like, oh, you're really good. But I just look at myself and I say, I'm kind of pretty good, right? And I was at video editing. I was like, oh, I'm a pretty good video editor. I'm pretty good at being funny. Like, I think I'm pretty good. And then I'm also pretty good at shooting a video. But when you can look in all of those things, the equation, all of those coming together,
the nexus,
equal what my channel was when I was able to say, hey, this is me. Like, and that was it. It wasn't trying to be anything else. And you really can learn a lot about the world and how they accept people who are different from them and unique, just from putting out things where you are truly yourself, and not trying to be anyone else.
Right. Yeah, because that's definitely the danger in like someone comparing yourself to someone like Andrew Huang, because it's like he's been honing his thing for a long time, and he has skills and talents that, it's
the ultimate. That's the ultimate. I think that's the ultimate thing with YouTube is people, they see something, they see that they're successful, and they just try to emulate it.
Yeah.
And I think that's, not talking about the unhealthiness of it sometimes, but that's where it becomes a problem, is that you don't even do anything that is uniquely you.
Yeah.
And then you wonder, and even if you gain success, then you say, oh, who was I the whole time?
Yeah.
And then if you don't gain success, you spend so much time just being a different person.
Yeah.
And the whole journey is about just loving who you are even more, because putting yourself in front of people is scary.
Yeah.
And I know that I was scared, and still am.
I'm still scared every time I put something.
Well, this is good. I like talking to people.
Yeah.
I like the one-on-one kind of I can look at someone and we're having a conversation about things in this moment. So yeah, this is always good for me. I sit inside making videos.
Yeah.
A lot of the days. So it's
I know there's some days I don't go outside or don't really see anybody.
Gosh.
And you get into your own little world a little too deep sometimes. I definitely do. And it's almost like culture shock when I have to like go out and go to the food store or something,
I'm better now. There's a lot of things that I wish I could have done to make myself more healthy as like a creator, understanding that you don't have to just be inside with yourself all day.
Yeah. I'm still working on that,
your interaction becomes like, oh, someone commented, like literally, like that's, friend time was missed out on and things like that. But you can't go back and you can't think about the regrets as much as you can just say next day is going to be a better day.
Yeah. What have I learned today, and how can I bring that with me into the future?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and not worry about the numbers, So yeah.
Well, then I think that's a big thing Roberto always says too. Because I don't really talk to him. I talk to him a little bit on like Instagram DM once in a while, or maybe it's more me saying things at him. But the thing I always took away from doing YouTube, and I think I've kind of learned it sort of from his channel and some of those like Tim Schmoyer, those kind of guys doing that stuff, is if YouTube blew up tomorrow and everything I've accomplished or everything I've done with it was gone, like those strides I've made, like as a person, like I feel like I wouldn't be able to talk with somebody like this. Like, I was never that great of an orator. I feel like, or I would have been too nervous to interview somebody or talk with somebody, and like the skills I've learned for lighting, the skills I've learned for editing, filming, like all that stuff I've made such strides with, and that's really what it has to be about at the end of the day. Because if it's about, how many people subscribed to me today, or how many comments I got, or how many downvotes I got, I don't know. It just, it's got to be about the journey,
Yeah, all those things chip away at you as a person, right? When it's just like you put out something that people enjoyed, however many people that was, is irrelevant compared to that you did it at all, right?
Yeah.
And that is a weird thing when you think about it. And I think that I try to separate myself from it a lot of times. It's like you put out a video where you sit and you talk and you get you know, thousands of people watching it, right? And the thing is, I guess I'm able to separate it, but it's weird because I watch like MKBHD videos and I think like, oh yeah, like he's way over there. He's MKBHD and he's way over there. And you realize that that's exactly the same way people watch your stuff.
Exactly.
They're watching it on a television and it's just, it's just a show, right? And it's not as if they don't care, but it's like, some people don't. Some people love you, you know? But also you have to realize that like, if it all stopped tomorrow and you were getting one view of video, did you increase all these different types of skills in your life because you just walked that path every day? And like, I much prefer the person I am now.
Me too.
Than the person I was when I started the channel.
Me too.
I don't even know why, but yeah, the channel then was a young guy scared of showing off his work, always being way too personal about it, and never really expressing his true creative like feelings to normal people. You know, and this maybe is just about my personality. It's like kind of crappy, but like I don't meet a lot of creative people or creative like girls where I'm at like a lot of times, right? And so like I would meet girls and I wouldn't tell them about like my YouTube channel back in the beginning, right? I would just hide it, be like, you know, because I didn't want it to be like a weird thing or them to be like, oh, like what is it, you know? And now I'm so much more okay with being like, yeah, I have a YouTube channel and it's going well and I enjoy the people I get to meet, and it's great to be able to produce and entertain people when I can. And if I get any sort of a like weird look, I don't shrink down and say, oh, well, it's just, oh, I guess that's just not meant for us. Like, this is not the thing, right? Like,
sure.
In the beginning, and anything I ever did that was creative, I always shrunk and just said, well, I'll just go back and I'll do it when you're not around or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm so much more confident than I was in 2015 with the sunglasses, how I always was trying to separate my creativity from who I actually am. So
yeah, it's like owning that person or that creativity, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
because it makes you better.
Yeah. You have like such a better idea of like I have such a better idea of who I am. Like that, I think that's one of the biggest things from YouTube. Like if it blew up, is like I have such a better understanding of who I am, what I want, and where I'm going. You know, and that's like I always say to everybody, I think everybody should start a channel. You know, and I know, like I said before, like anybody can do it, but not everybody will. You know, and it's the people that do. I think we're really lucky. You know.
Yeah, there's something about there's so many things that you gain from learning. You learn about yourself through YouTube, which can translate into so many different parts of your life, where it's not just about the views. It's about, well, say you make a video every week, right? Well, that teaches you like discipline.
Yeah.
You know, speaking in front of a camera candidly helps you to speak in front of people candidly, because what you don't realize is like it's creating the eye contact with the lens and all of these things which are very similar to a person. Like not everyone's good at that when they first start.
Yeah.
I look down, like I used to look down, and and now it's like I can really like look into the lens and know that I need to connect with people, and that can help your interpersonal skills. With people.
Absolutely.
And then putting yourself out there as a person who has unique qualities, likes and dislikes that they're going to be able to share with however many people watch, right? And leave that up as sort of a document of who they were at a period of time. Not everyone likes to do that. The same way as like people used to, you know, they have an old yearbook and they would like scratch their picture out in the old yearbook because they're like, that's not me. It's like, well, you have to be okay with like that was. And it's not a bad thing. It's just evolution over time. You want to be okay with the journey. And so, I like you said, not everyone will start a channel. I think everyone can learn something about themselves, even if they just did it for 6 months or a year, and really took it not serious as like I want to start a business or I want to start a career as a full-time YouTuber, but as a I want a community based around things that I want to talk about, and that's it. Like,
yeah, because I'm sure you can't go to like random people on the street and be like, "Hey, have you heard the new Dave Smiths?" They'll just be like, "Wait, what? Like, what are you talking about?" It's like,
well, I am gonna do a series like that. I'm trying, but
that's awesome.
I have to get a camera person to help with that. But yeah, it's called Synth on the Street. I already thought about it. And it was going to be me taking my modular around. I already thought about all the like funny things
awesome.
that I hope people say.
Yeah.
I'm really needing like a very like ghetto person to walk up and be like, "Is that a computer?" Like I already like thought about like all these funny things that could happen. The police thinking it's a bomb.
People are gonna think you're like a time traveler.
Yeah, I it'll happen. It's obviously going to happen. It's just a matter of me hiring the camera person and shooting it here and not getting arrested and not getting it stolen. It's really all of these kind of factors that have to be thought about first. But yeah, there's all of these things that I think about where people would be really interested in it if you showed them kind of how to just mess with it for a few minutes, plug in some things and let them move some knobs and see that things are happening.
Yeah.
And have them just be like, "Wow, this is so interesting." So, I need to get my mom to mess with it too. She'd be pretty interested.
She only plays like analog pianos, I take it.
Yeah, she's only pianos. But yeah, I mean, I talked to her about it one time. I was like, "Mom, we're gonna do this like mom versus modular thing or something."
Oh man, your ideas. I mean, you must have just all these segment ideas. This is great.
Yeah, it's just they come in this weird place where it's like I can't do all of these things. Yeah. I want to, but then it's eventually I come up with a channel where there's no actual series anymore. It's just
new
one-off
segments.
videos of like cool like things. But we'll see. One day. I mean, how much time do you think you spend right now
on like the channel overall?
Yeah.
Oh man, it's got to be running like full-time job status. So I mean, it's between I do like a live stream every week with my friend, and then for a while I was doing 2 of those a week. At one point I was doing like trying to do a video every day, because I remember, again, like Roberto was saying, once he started doing videos like more frequently, that's when his channel was growing.
Did you feel like that happened for you?
Yes, and I also felt like I was starting to cannibalize my own audience, because it got to a point where it was like there's just too much stuff. There's definitely like a middle ground, and it also just got to be so, because I was doing like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, or Monday, Thursday, Friday were videos. Tuesday, Wednesday were live streams, and then the weekends, like I would also do like another stream sometimes, and it was just way too much. But now I'm trying to tone it back. Now I'm doing the podcast too with you right now. Which is fun, and I'm trying to get, like I said, like if YouTube ever blew up, I still want to be able to do, because this is totally independent of that. So it's just like another way of getting yourself out there, and it's something a format I always wanted to try, because I love like all sorts of different podcasts and interviews and things like that. So, but yeah, I would say I've been trying to do more of those videos where it's, point and shoot and talk to it and just jump cuts, because I'm not the greatest at always conceptualizing my thoughts, and I don't always write a script, but I realize like the ones where I do write the script are usually come out the best. So I might wind up spending more time, but I would say like 20 to 30 to 40 hours, depending on, what I'm doing. So, but again, though, like it can be different depending on the week. I try to have weeks where it's like, okay, this week I'm just going to like unbox this thing that somebody sent, or like today I'm just going to talk about like this song I wrote. Like the video that came out yesterday was just a video of like the different parts of a song I wrote, and it took me like, I don't know, maybe an hour and a half total to like edit it, shoot it, and everything. So really depends.
No, I think that's good. There has to be a limit to the amount of time you're going to put into something that requires you to not necessarily always be around people, because hard work is important, but personal relationships, can suffer. I mean, we're kind of like, we're not like streamers per se.
No,
in the way of like sitting at home, like by yourself.
That's
like,
got to be, yeah.
I don't know how they do it. Now, I wanted to do it. I wanted to do a fun video game stream.
I wanted to do that too, yeah. Because that's definitely another one of my big interests,
Yeah, like I got the like NES Classic recently, or the SNES
nice.
Classic, and I was like, I think it'd be fun to plug it in, and I'm just playing the video game, but it's going to be more of like a hang. Like, hey, you guys want to talk about some things? Like, I'll talk about it while I play video games. I think that would be interesting for the channel, but then I also am like, I don't know, like, you start doing something weird. Like, if someone were to come to my channel and to see a video game, I don't know what they might think. Like, but then again, I have so many, like, things surrounding video games because music is such a big thing in video games,
Yeah,
I've been wanting to.
That's immediately where
like
my head went. I was like, well, what if you were playing like Final Fantasy VI and you were scoring it yourself with the volume off or something? I don't know.
That's what I was thinking about. Because I love the Sonic Mania soundtrack. I love the soundtrack for Sonic Mania. And I was going to talk about how you could learn music through video games. Like it's so much easier to hear instruments because they had such a limited amount. I was going to like recreate some of them on like my Sub 37. It would be an amazing video to do. It would just take maybe 2 weeks because I have to learn the pieces so I can perform them, and as well create like a lot of the backing tracks so I can show people how they work. But I know that if I could do that video would really open up the channel to a whole other audience.
Absolutely.
But it's all really about time, effort, and where I want it to go. So I think it'll come at some point because that soundtrack is just that or Turtles in Time soundtrack. One or the other.
Nice.
I don't know. That's such a great soundtrack. So that is a part of a different video though. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Cool. I'm excited for all these new series and segments that you got brewing.
Maybe I just have ADHD. I don't know. Zero of the same series from last year. Literally, my channel has none of the same things. That January to August. Jeez. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty weird. Yeah.
You're on your path though. You're trying out new things. Gonna see what comes back. Check out the analytics. See what people are feeling and vibing on. So.
Channel grows a lot. Creator does none of the things that people came to channel for initially.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I guess I created so many things I can do that people stay around hoping that that's the video that will come.
Sure.
So, but there's so many easy things to do. Midweek melodies, those are easy. I could just sit and play.
Yeah,
Maybe
I noticed that you were doing
talk.
more of those because, and that was my impression was that these must be like more, not quicker, but they must be
they're
easier to do.
They're easier to do.
I mean, just like the name of the series too. It seems like very midweek melody. It's it seems like it's going to be very just like a one-off or like quick kind of vibe to it.
And that's what I was hoping to do. I was hoping to make it a every week thing. I was hoping that midweek melody, which is an awesome title, I remember making it and being like, just sick ass title.
Yeah.
I was like, Wednesdays would be a great day. I'll do Monday, Wednesday, or I'll do Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday videos or something like that. And I wanted to do it for every single synth I did. Monday could be the review. Maybe not every week, but some weeks. Monday could be the review. Tuesday could be the review. Wednesday could be the midweek melody. And then Thursday could be like the synth quickie where I talk about hints and tips about it, right? A little bit more in depth where I'm showing specific techniques, right? Of course, that died because I realized, that's like the same thing every week, I can't. Not that I don't want to do that, but it's just like, maybe I just changed too much. But I want it to come back in some capacity. I want midweek melody to happen again because people literally like commented me that recently. They're like, "Man, bring back the midweek melody." And it's like, it's hard because it is one of the easiest videos to do. Like I just do one take.
Yeah.
Setting up the cameras and then doing the one take is real easy.
Yeah, that's super. Yeah, that must be super quick.
But
And it sounds like it goes along with what you were saying about wanting to play more. So.
But then it comes down to me being like, was that take good enough? And what I don't want to do is do a crap load of takes where I already know exactly what I'm going to play. Like I kind of just want to.
I would just do it.
Jam.
It is what it is, and that's it. You know. And next week's another week.
Well, maybe you'll get that. Maybe you'll get that. I have the obligation to do this reverb video that I have to like be done with on Tuesday. I think I have to deliver that to them for approval.
When is it?
But it's coming on the 14th of August.
Awesome.
Yeah, there's a approval process that has to kind of happen. I don't know if I'm not supposed to talk about it or supposed.
Oh
to
yeah,
I already did. I already did. So it's just like there's something that I think I have to do something releasing the video, and but those are good. The videos are good. I don't do reviews for pay, but I think sponsored videos where hopefully you can give your audience, discounts on things, and also incorporate it with something you use makes sense instead of
absolutely.
I just really have to have my unbiased things. Like I'm not saying you can't get it from a company. It's just it's important to me that I don't make that an option when my channel's like around. It's not a don't worry. It's like nobody told me I had to do this.
Yeah. And like you said before, it was like it waters it down, or it kind of makes your mission less. Like if you're like taking, I don't know. I couldn't see how that could be fun too.
And the thing is, it's way easier. It'd be way easier for me to do newer synths and things.
Yeah.
Cause I.
That's not who you are though.
No. And I actually recently bought, which is like sitting over here, this Emu Proteus 2, which is like a rack mount thing, and it's part of a series that I started to shoot, but now I have to like actually make the music with it. It's called Pawn Shop Super Producer.
Whoa!
Where I just go to a random pawn shop and I try to find like it doesn't matter what it is. I just gotta find something.
And
cheap,
produce something with
just buy it and produce something with it, right? It's kind of like
awesome.
against the clock. It's kind of like against the clock, where you have like a period of time to make something, but I'm limited to whatever I can find at a pawn shop. I can't pick it. Now it costs me fucking money and it sucks. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes.
Well, you could always sell it back to the pawn shop at a loss, I'm sure.
Wow.
Oh, that's one thing I wanted to ask you about really
Break
quick.
it.
You mentioned in the video the Amazon return policy. Why not just do that with 12 Days of Synthmas? Order, a card of 12 synths that you want to check out, and Amazon will rent them out to you, quote unquote.
Yeah. I mean, maybe I could. It's tough because it's like how much. It's weird. Back when I was doing a lot more 1 minute synth review stuff, I would actually have a certain amount of like money that I would just put towards like returns. Like, I don't know how that sounds.
Makes sense.
Like I would literally, I guess I would say, okay, I need a new synth. I would just say for like $500 I didn't need or something and just buy it and be like, well, I'm going to get the $500 back soon. So it was just one of these like, but we will see. I mean, it could be real expensive. But maybe next year. Maybe next year I'll be known enough that companies will let me borrow some things just for the holidays. I think it would be a fun video. I think that it could go well into a lot of different types of things where I say like, oh, here's some good gifts for maybe your kids who like synths. I don't really necessarily know if I want to go down that path because that works for some channels. Like Bo did it last year, like best synth gifts, and I remember that thing got like 100,000 views or something.
Yeah,
like,
I think it was one of his more
crazy.
popular ones. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like I know that I could do that, but like
that's like the whole YouTube thing, like jumping on trending types of content. So it's like, you know,
am I being too like low hanging fruit to know that this would work and then to do it, or am I just trying to be helpful? Yeah. So there's this whole double-edged sword
balance,
to like. Yeah, like it's like sponsor content. Like if I talk to a company and they're like, "Oh, we want to do a sponsorship," I'm always like, "Well, you know, is this going to work for like us? Like, is this going to be a good idea for us to do?" And it's like sometimes it's not, or sometimes it's not worth it for the amount of people I know are going to feel alienated by me doing like, "Hey guys, this video is brought to you by Twix," like, you know, something like that, which would be awesome. I want Twix to sponsor my videos.
That'd be amazing. That would be sick.
That'd be probably like a real fat. I feel like that would be great. I tried to get them to.
That'd be good for Halloween.
To do it on Twitter. Maybe that would be great. I just got to get in to know who these people are. If I can just get to like the marketing person at like Mars Corporation.
Yeah.
I'm in. So, you know, if you meet anyone from the Mars Corporation, like drop them a hint, like, hey,
maybe. What if you did a series where you said, "Oh, this is the best type of Mars candy to eat when you're playing this synthesizer."
Yeah, however they want me to do it, so they can write the largest check possible. I want the check to be like, so I don't have to do a sponsor video for the whole rest of the year, or I could just eat them in every video, you know, and then I get a sponsorship from Crest. So
that reminds me of like the Mac and Me. Did you see the Mac and Me James Rolfe?
The Angry Video Game Nerd?
Yeah, like,
I didn't. It was, I guess, a Cinemassacre review of it.
Right,
no,
right.
I saw it, and it was 38 minutes, and I was like, I don't have the 38 minutes right now, but I will.
Well, that's like a great because they talk about like product placement, because I guess in that movie it's like sponsored by McDonald's, sort of like the corporation that shipped around McDonald's products. But they were talking about how like all those movies has like this product placement. So that's what you could do, you know? It's like E.T. where there's like Reese's Pieces, you know? And that,
I mean, I would like that to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know if it will. I mean, I need Twix to get on board. I'm going to keep tweeting at them.
And then at the end of each segment or something, you could just like pop one open and take a bite. Like, all right, guys.
Yeah,
that could be your
fresh maker.
That could be your high five.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how like companies work with things like that. I don't see. I guess I don't watch enough like high end like YouTube content. Like so many of the channels are like sub. For me, like maybe like sub 200,000 channels or whatever, right? Like Andrew Huang's like one of the biggest channels I watch, as well as like Peter McKinnon, right? But then it's like Peter McKinnon doesn't do like Twix ad, but it's like, why not? Like he's got like 500,000 people per video.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't he have a Twix ad? Like they'll put a Twix ad on freaking, reruns of like Little House on the Prairie. So, I mean, just saying, like I just gotta find the person. For me, it always ends up me meeting the person.
Yeah, it's like you could do a lot with those type of sponsorships, because that's what they used to do in like TV shows and commercials.
Yeah, and it's totally not attached to anything that I'm doing anyway. So it's like, I don't think people would be mad if I were to at the end of every video talk about like
your love of Twix
or like Velcro or something. Ooh, use Velcro to like tie up your cables or something. Like nobody would be suspect of that. People would be like, that's cool. Oh, yeah. You know what? To go to that, the Hosa video I did like way back before, like in February, everyone thought that video was like sponsored by Hosa. Like I got multiple like messages from like people like,
wait, which one? Which
I did a Hosa video where like
Oh yeah, I like the thumb for that one with the cables. You had them like wrapped around you, right?
yeah, I was so clever, I thought. But my hair looked great at that point as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
That was a good hair day, man.
That was a good photo shoot.
That was fun. But it was like I wanted to do a cool tongue-in-cheek video. I had all the jokes written down. Like I already knew every joke that I was going to try to do. Where I love me some Hosa cables. Like that was like a funny thing I knew. But people thought that video was like sponsored to death. Like they were like, "You are another person with Hosa cables." And what I will say is I get what these people are saying. People are just suspect.
Those are just everywhere, though. Like every music store, anybody who's ever, like, even just a kid that's got a new guitar and he goes to get a cable, it's like, chances are that kid bought a Hosa. It's like every single music store is just flooded with that company. So it's everywhere.
Yeah, the thing they're really good though at being like creator community focused. Now, I don't think Hosa has ever sponsored. I mean, I don't know. I only speak for myself, right? But like, I went on Amazon and bought those cables because I didn't have any Hosa. I didn't have any Urac cables I liked. Like most of the cables that I got were like real thin, and I didn't like them or whatever. And so I bought the Hosa cables, which seemed a little expensive, but when I got them, I was like, wow, like this cable's like really good. Like these cables.
They're not paying me to say this.
Yeah, and they're not. Yeah, I think I even put that in the video. I didn't know I had to put a freaking receipt of Amazon. Apparently, that's what you have to do now, just to make sure people don't think you're lying to them.
I see.
Where you paid for it. So, anyway, I'm not gonna get into why I think people are such. They always talk about consumerism. They're like, I don't want to feel like I'm being sold to, right? And it's like, well, when you go to the store and you pick up the Fruit Loops, you don't want to feel like you're being sold to, but you are.
Yeah.
Like they got the toucan, and somehow you walked in that store, you didn't put Fruit Loops on the list, but you walked out with Fruit Loops.
Yeah.
Like you got sold to whether you think so or not, right? And I don't do that, but I also realize the reality of it. Like everything, this Zoom recorder, someone somewhere said that it was a good recorder, so.
Well, that's the thing is like you hear about things after like so many times. Like I've heard so much about Zoom too. It's like I don't know. I'm probably hear about it at least once a week or twice a week from different people. The Zoom company comes across, or we talk about some kind of Zoom, multi-track recorder. It's like it's just everywhere. That's the same with Fruit Loops. Like you've seen those ads since you were a kid for 20, 25 years. It's like that is just ingrained in your brain somewhere.
It is, and that's the thing. Like I never owned a Zoom before this, but it was like, what are the names of recorders? It was like Tascam and Zoom, and I had a Tascam, and it was okay, but then the Zoom looked like it had better quality, so I bought it. Right, I watched a couple reviews from like Curtis Judd, some people I liked, and then I was like, yeah, I'll buy it, right? But it was like. I mean, you make the decision for yourself at the end of the day, right? Like, consumerism only works if you are the consumer. So, for me, I just I get the reality of it. Everything is trying to be sold to you. Maybe not always covertly. Like, it's not a covert operation to trick you.
Sure.
But I still eat at McDonald's.
Yeah.
I know it's horrible.
It's like it's almost like you're selling it to yourself too, like by like
yes.
Oh, I'm interested in this pedal. Let me go online and find a reason to buy it. Like let me go find a review that I like. So it's kind of like everybody is, like you're saying, is like consumerism works because we're consumers.
Yeah, that's my biggest issue. I have to stay away from videos like that because like the person may not be telling me to buy it, but the person is saying that it's good, and because it's good, and we like stuff, it's a thing, right? Like I watch like camera reviews, or I watch like lens reviews for lenses that I know I'm not going to buy. I just do. And I think that's like a lot of people do on YouTube anyway. It's like you just want to be watching content that you like. You can't go on Netflix and watch videos about synths. You can't go on Amazon Prime and watch videos about synths.
Sure.
YouTube is the place about synths. And I know people a lot of times they say things like, "Oh, it's oversaturated," right? And I'm always like, "No, I don't think it is," because when I go on YouTube sometimes I run out of things I want to watch.
Me too.
Right? And because of that, there isn't enough for everyone. When you go on television, you might get like bored or whatever, but there's always something you might want to watch. Like, it's weird to say, but it's like, oh, I want to watch like sports or cartoons. Like, I can just watch cartoons all day. There's always a cartoon, but there's not always another synth video that you want to watch, you know?
Yeah. And I think too, there's another, I mean, I'm just going to seem like a Roberto fanboy, but like, you know, he always said, there's something he said with channels like that and oversaturation is, if there's an ice cream shop and there's 40 flavors and you come along with the 41st flavor, that's something that somebody wants, like strawberry cheesecake, and the other place doesn't have that, like, people are going to come to you because that's the flavor they want.
Exactly. No, that's exactly what it is. There is no oversaturation when right now there's not enough to satisfy everyone. I mean, even back then when I was watching AVGN videos, I'd watch AVGN videos more than once, like sometimes, you know? And that was like, you know, like, you don't probably need to do that, but it was just no one else was filling that space of like quality content with kind of this character.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do? You're going to watch it over and over and over to get your fill.
Yeah. And you maybe seek out something that could be similar, but I mean, I always come back to that because there's not.
And those the funniest part is like the ones where he puts the seasons together and it's like 12 hours or something, you know.
Yeah.
That's when you know, you're like, wow, like he's put out like a lot of videos. This guy can put together a compilation of a season and it's hours long. He has
like DVD sets where it's like there's seasons 1 through 7 or whatever on like 7 DVDs. It's like this is a whole other level of production.
I don't envy it. I respect that. He showed me that, I think, and I hope he shows a lot of people, because he's not really pushed to the forefront of like how things are done because he's been around, but like if you talk about consistency and being able to last there, I mean, you can't even like touch a channel that's been around since the dawn of the YouTube era and is still today like watched by the people who watched it like then.
Yeah.
And they're saying like it's still good. Mm-hmm. And it was even good then. Like back then, like, you know, there was a point in which like it changed to being like better, obviously.
Sure.
But he's been up with the formats, you know. He shot originally in like SD because that's what it was, and then eventually he upgraded to HD, mm-hmm. and he upgraded HD when it was necessary. And so anyway, yeah, I can't say enough for his impact on me as a personal person, and then also the impact on like this is a creator who makes videos basically by himself.
Yeah.
Still, and then has millions of people watching those videos, way more than tons of television networks.
Sure.
Those small, crappy television networks.
And he did it completely himself.
Mm-hmm. Did it completely himself, created a character, built a business around it, you know, and then
did it his way.
On top of that, he shot a movie.
I know. Yeah, no, that is like he completely circumvented the entire like industry when it comes to all this stuff. And he shows that you could do it if you have the idea and the passion and the drive. Like the sky's the limit.
Yeah, and it's funny because he doesn't come off as this like shrewd businessman who's like, you know, like
he's just a guy that is like loves movies and loves games.
Yeah,
that's how his passion flows through him.
Yeah, there's other channels. I don't know if you watch people like The Completionist,
no,
or guys like that. Well, there's so like Gerard Khalil, who's The Completionist. He does like video game. He does like 100% completions on video games.
Oh, okay.
Like he's very different in the way of like you know, he talks about like his channel where he's like, oh guys, like, so you know how YouTube is doing the thing, blah blah blah. He's like, oh, you know, might have to like lay off some employees because you can't, and like that kind of grates on you,
yeah,
as like, you know what I'm saying? Like, James and the Cinemassacre has never like done that. They've figured out ways. Just like now, he puts stuff on Amazon early, and he let people know that, like, hey, it's gonna be on Amazon Prime, before it's up on, you know, YouTube. So if you want to get it over Amazon Prime, and you know, he gets paid more for Amazon Prime clicks or whatnot. So I'm always thinking to myself, like, that's great. You know, he's not hitting you with the bad news.
Yeah.
Of like, oh, woe is my channel, or we're just trying to be here. But other channels will do that. Other channels like, hey guys, so you know how the algorithm is.
Yeah.
It's really bad for us. It's like, people are aware of the state of a lot of things. But you know, Fox News or whatever network you watch, NBC's or ABC's, they don't tell you like, hey, we might have to do a layoff. Like, that's,
yeah,
you know,
right, yeah.
just give the people what they want, which is the entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
Explain to them things when it needs to be sort of explained. But, you know, I would hate to be like, hey guys, I won't be able to go full time on YouTube unless you guys like give me like enough money. Like, please give me, you know, it's not a Chris Chan situation over here. So.
Yeah. And then I think that's what you touched upon in the latest. I keep saying think piece. I don't even know if that's the right terminology, but
good enough.
You know, it's like you were saying I think you pretty much said like the moment you do anything for the money, or like again, you know, if YouTube blew up tomorrow, it wouldn't be about the pennies and cents that I made in my AdSense. It's about the skills and the passion. It's like, first and foremost, like that's what needs to come across in your videos. Like that's the only reason to do it, is your passion for this community and your passion for just playing music.
Yeah, we're all in this creative thing where we're musicians, and the word sellout comes a lot quicker than in other things, right? So staying true to being a creative person is very important for a lot of people who aren't, say, maybe doing it and understanding, like, you know, like there's a lot of musicians who play and make music at home, and they don't even get paid the $200 a month that I might get paid on AdSense, right? Which is like pretty good, right? You know, so when you think about the whole year, like there's a lot of musicians who went to college and sit in their houses and play music and try to play, and they never get paid because people don't like to pay musicians. You know, this whole game, right?
Sure.
Photographers, like, that's a weird thing. Photographers, if you need a photographer, like, you can find a gig almost any day of the week, and they'll give you $50 to $100. Like, hey, we just need a photographer for like 2 hours. Give you like $50, right? Okay, cool. Oh, hey, we need like somebody to play piano at like this little thing for like a couple hours. Would you be like willing to like come do it? It'd be good for you.
We'll give you like a comp meal or something.
Yeah, like it'd be, you know, it's fun, right? That's like the difference between like musicians and like a photographer, people who do video or things like that, right? It's yeah, it's like a painter in a way. It's not as crazy gone where it's like the painter, people are always saying like, oh yeah, you know, it'd be nice if you just did this painting because you know, nobody really wants it anyway, like, you know. But that's, I think, the thing. You have to walk that very, very thin line between not being a sellout and then being, I don't know, understanding that there is a business behind this. Like, YouTube is super valuable. Companies always looking at YouTube for how to sell ads, because like they can't sell ads in magazines, they can't sell ads on TV. Like, that's what people, I think, have to realize, is that, one, I'm not saying that companies take advantage of synth YouTube or musician YouTube or guitarist YouTube or anything like that, but it's just like, one, no one reads magazines. Straight up, like, the magazines, when you go to NAMM, are on this freaking thing that's like this awful kiosk where you know that like a bulldozer is going to come and like crush it like at the end of NAMM. Like nobody is like wanting those.
Yeah.
Two, they don't want to spend money on real advertisements except for like Arturia. Arturia will buy ads, right? You'll see an actual ad for Arturia when something's released. And three, they never can put those budgets for television ads because they're too small and it costs too much. So they got to go somewhere. And where are they going to go? Well, they can't go on their own channels because one, no one trusts the channel of a company for the most part. That's why most channels for companies are super small, even if they sell a lot of things. And you know that, right?
Yeah, I've noticed that.
So, okay, there's that. And then number two, and also they don't curate those well enough to make them go anywhere.
Yeah, that's what's funny about them too, is like they don't seem to, some of them seem like, oh, let's try this for like 2 weeks, or like, let's put up all this content in the same day. And then it just sat there for 7 years. And it's like 7 years ago, you know, it's like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, it was 1 week ago, 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Every other video.
Yeah.
And so, and there's that, like, and so I think that maybe if people understood that, and I didn't want to like make that in the video because then it seems like I'm maybe being a little bit too businessy about it. But
Sure.
that's just the reality, is that they're going to go to your channel if they want to get someone to cover some, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
because I mean, think about it, like, again, using James Rolfe as an example. He has, I don't know, whatever, millions of people that watch his stuff, and those people are really into games. So, hey, if you got a new game that's a 2D throwback to, you know, the classic NES titles, like, why wouldn't you try to get a targeted ad on his stuff? Because 9 times out of 10, probably the people watching it are going to be interested in that.
yeah, the audience just, that's where they're at. When I was younger, I read the magazines. Like, I went and I picked up Electronic Musician magazine, and I would open the magazine, I'd go through the whole magazine, and I would come across ads. But that's because you were going through the magazine, right? Now, I don't care what anyone tells me, no one reads the magazines. Like, I mean, there are people who do, but for the most part, video is still king, right? People want to get information faster than they can actually ingest it by reading. They want to have examples. They want sounds and moving images. So they're going to go to you. They're going to go to me. They're going to go to whomever. It depends how we decide we want to kind of accept these kind of like offers from people.
Yeah.
So I just wish people understood that more, is that like the companies don't have anywhere to go. They don't want to spend the money, but they also look at people like ourselves or whatnot, or whomever is at this level, whatever level it is, and they still don't want to spend the money when like an ad in like Electronic Musician magazine 10 years ago, they've got to do the photo shoot. They've got to get the person, you know what I'm saying? Like those are like thousands of dollars of advertising that now they're not spending.
And now it's everybody has like a full production music studio in their pocket, video studio. Yep. So that's a whole other element too. Because I see a buddy of mine who's a director out in LA, and his income and everything has changed drastically in the past 10 years from when he was crushing it doing commercials till now. He can't even get jobs because it went from, hey, you're this person with this, you know, camera, this SD camera, HD camera, and that used to be a thing. Like he hit it at that time when it was, you had to have a special equipment to do it. Now everybody has that equipment in their back pocket. So, you know, the value of it has gone down while the ability for people to make it has gone way up.
Has gone way up. And there's more and more companies that understand that, but at the same time, everything is not the same. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't get jobs from other companies if I hadn't and don't put out a certain aesthetic as I had kind of created over the past like couple of years, right?
Yeah.
But that being said, like, not everyone has the skills or the equipment to do those things, but they've come so low in price that it's attainable, you know? Like back in the day, like you said, it's if you didn't have, like, if you just had an HD camera at some point, right? You could go out and buy. I started in video when the HD cam was a big thing, which is it's the version of like 1080p tape.
Whoa.
You know, not standard definition tapes, like videotapes. So 1080p videotapes, you could just go take out a loan for, I don't know, $70,000 or something, and buy an HD Cam SR machine and then just rent it. You would make your money back like double after like a year of owning that machine, just easily, just on rentals.
Right.
Right. And that's because no other machine could do 1080p tape. Now, HD Cam, no, it's all tapeless workflows. It's all
4K
file-based.
Now. People have 4K on their
file-based
iPhone.
Workflows. Nobody delivers 4K tapes anymore. No, I mean, they don't do it at all. There is no 4K tape player that I know of.
Yeah, it's not even, yeah.
So, all that being said, it's nowadays, like you said, it's if you have the skills to do it, the equipment is not the barrier to entry. It's your skill level.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, but companies do prey on that. I definitely know that firsthand as someone who does this for companies, and they pay me, and I say, oh, wow, like, you know, it's always, oh, I'll make this up on the next job. Like, you know, I might be doing this for like $750 to do this video, and it's not really good. I want the connection and the relationship more than I want to do this because I know I'm getting screwed, like, for the equipment and the hourly or something. So,
yeah.
But that being said, it's just companies who are in the synth and music don't have anywhere else to go. They have to have people like you and I and Bo and Andrew, all those people who do videos, to be able to market their stuff in a way, quote, in a way. If not, no one would hear about their products. They can go on blogs, I guess. They can go on Synthtopia and read about it, but it's not usually as fun as watching a video. So,
For sure.
Yeah. I'm glad I brought down the end of this conversation.
No, this stuff is super informative, and because, like you said, people have such a misconception about how all this stuff works, and you know where you're coming from as a creator, and you know, I don't mean you, I just mean like people in general. And I think that's a super important conversation to have, you know, because like you said, it's not just about, oh, I'm going to start a channel so I can get free synths. It's like that's not how it works at all, you know.
I guarantee it won't work that way. It's like anyone listening. I guarantee that if you think that because no one has an audience, right? If you have if you have 1,000 people subscribing to you in the synth community, that's a decent amount. More than say, if you have 1,000 in the camera community, that's not a lot. 1,000 is like, that's a channel just starting because there's so many people coming and consuming. They want camera stuff or video games. 1,000 people in the video game community is like, oh, you might as well have 0. Right. 10,000. Okay, you're just starting to get there, right?
Yeah, especially music. I mean, I feel like where you're at, that's a pretty decent amount of people for a music channel.
I definitely think it's a lot more than I would have expected to. I never thought it would have more than 1,000 in the lifetime of the channel, and that was me being very honest with myself about how I thought that the whole, I thought that it worked, right?
Well, same here. I thought I was gonna peak out maybe at like 100. You know,
it's weird.
Like the stuff I do is like so niche. It's. Why would I think there would be anything more than that? You know, like I don't know. I try not to think about the numbers, but there is sort of this wonderful double-edged sword of you can see the progress that you're making, right? Not everywhere in life is your like, you know, like in a video game, where you see like the HP on your character, you're like, okay, this many points to the next level. It's kind of like that. Like YouTube is like a weird video game analogy. Yeah, it's like, and that's what I mean with all the analytics and the data, and that's like a vlog I did at one point was like, data doesn't lie, you know? It's like, you can see very clearly, like never before, whether the music you're doing, if you have like a Bandcamp, whether that's finding people or people are listening to it, people are buying it, where they're listening to it. You can see very clearly which videos you put out are the ones that resonating, like we were saying, and which ones people want to watch or are clicking subscribe to, which they're liking, disliking. And it's like, you can really tailor your direction. But it's like people were never able to ever do that before, especially creative people.
No, I don't think there's a better. If you're starting a band, right, and you want to be famous or whatever, which not going to happen.
Yeah.
Because of that's ridiculous, I guess. But you know how that goes. Like, I don't know what band has become famous in the last few years. And it used to happen more, right?
Yeah.
Fall Out Boy came and you're like, oh wow, Fall Out Boy kind of came out of nowhere and now they're a big band. I can't pick a band. So, all that said, if you want to go somewhere and try to make it work, YouTube. You just got to get, you may not overtly tell people that this is a band and this is how I'm trying to do it, but you have to kind of covertly convert people from something else into what you're trying to do, right? And that my channel was always trying to do something like that, where it was I'm talking about the gear, but really it's a personality thing. Hopefully you enjoy this. And it was some people do vlogs. They start with a vlog right away, as you know, and Roberto would say, that's not what to do. Don't start a vlog.
Yeah.
You've got to kind of get people into something else first. So I just thought of it start a YouTube channel because it is the most exposure you could get. Where else in the world can I get 5,000 people to watch a video where I just talk about something and then, get 200 plus comments about, that's a lot of...
That's really pushing the needle for getting yourself out there, whether you want to get your channel out there, your music out there. I don't know, just your thoughts about a certain aspect of the world. It's you don't have that platform anywhere else. That's what I found too. It's amazing that, my channel, I get 100, 200 views, and that's a lot.
That's a lot.
And it's because
that's a lot.
That's again, quote Roberto again. He's always saying if you picture those people in a room, 100 people.
Yeah.
Picture those people in a movie theater. That's a lot of people just sitting down to see what you got to say.
People. That's a lot of people, and you don't realize that until you do take the time to just meditate on that idea of what else even in your life, even if you're, say, a person at a company, right, who's managing people, and then you have to make you have to do sort of this new training course about this new technique you're going to be using in the workplace. You're usually not speaking to 100 people. Maybe you're speaking to a small conference room of 20 or 30 people tops, right? Mm-hmm. So to be able to, and also what you've done is you didn't tell the people you have to be here. You allowed them to come freely because they want to be there.
Sure.
And that's really really important when you just to think about yourself in that way. Wow, I can, people will spend time, and then time is important, right? People don't spend time doing crap that they don't want to do if they don't have to do it. So you make crappy videos, you keep making crappy videos, there's going to be a lot less people, right?
Yeah.
But because people know, right? So, yeah.
I always make the analogy too to like you're saying, if you want to be a musician or a band and get your name out there, it's I played so many shows when I was younger, and to people that maybe people weren't even want to be there, or they weren't into the kind of music or you're doing, and it's with YouTube, I've had the most interest. I always say this: the most interest I've ever had in the stuff I'm doing, even just as a offshoot. It's wasn't even intended, but so many more people than ever before in the 10, 15 years I was trying to do something or play music or go out. Now this past year, it's the most interest there's ever been in my music, and it's a complete. I wasn't even trying to do it, and it's I'm getting maybe 500 to 1,000 views a day, and it's I always say to myself now, it's
it's a lot.
Yeah, I'm because I always used to beat myself up I should, if I want to be a musician, I got to go play shows, I got to go do this, got to go do that, and it's I'm potentially getting my music out to 500 to 1,000 people a day. It's if you're trying to do that, touring or playing people's basements or playing clubs, it's you're lucky if you find one person per show that's going to be into what you're doing. Today, it's if you have a channel, if you're doing something with music or have something that's interesting, to people in whatever way, to be able to get that many people on board per day, potentially new people, if each one of those represents another person, like that's super powerful, like in a way that we were never able to do before as like creative people.
No, yeah, it's really really inspirational to see a platform be able to do that, you know, and it's backed by Google. So every time someone searches on Google, it's referencing like YouTube as a place to go and find the information,
Yeah.
right?
Second biggest search
and
engine, yep, behind Google.
super, 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 super powerful, right? And yeah, just like you said, it's most of the time, and also a lot of the time, it's not going to your people who are subscribed to you. It's going to the people who are new, right? Because a lot of videos don't go out. I think right now, somewhere like 30% of the videos views are from old people, like not old, but legacy subscribers. And then 70% of it is all new viewers, right?
Wow.
And so that's like a weird thing when you think about it. Like, just like you're getting, say, 1,000 views a month, right? It's like, well, maybe 300 of those people already have been there and they've seen you, but that's like 700 new people who are looking at you every single month.
That's insane.
And it's almost weird because I know, you know, my channel is at, I think it's at like 800,000 or 900,000 views right now. Wow. It's not at yet 1 million, but maybe soon, you know, within a couple of months. But
Congrats, that's awesome.
Oh, I mean, when I get there, I think it'll be even more interesting to think about that. But just take away like half of that, or even a quarter of that. You know, a quarter of that is people who really care and have been watching you consistently. But say, you know, 750,000 people watch you. 750,000 people you've never met in your life have sat there and have listened to your every word and have looked at your face. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's a lot weirder than, and it's an experience that most people can't have. And I'm not saying it's a better or more like experience to be like lauded after. It's just like most people don't get 750 people looking at them every week.
I mean, they say like the hardest metrics to hit are 100 subscribers and then 1,000 subscribers.
Yes.
Like those are two of the levels
I
where
agree.
Like 60% of channels don't even get past those goalposts.
I absolutely agree that 100 for me was, man, I wish I could think back to that. Like I was sitting here like having like this, trying to have this thought back to that. But I do remember 100 was not super, super hard because I got one video on Synthtopia right away.
Oh, okay.
And the first video I ever put out got like on Synthtopia.
Yeah, I feel like your channel grew pretty quickly in the beginning because, like I said, I think when I found it, it was the Tempest video, and I think that was pretty much the cutting edge one that you had done, like the newest one you had done.
Yeah.
And that was pretty early on in like, if I'm recalling correctly.
That was about 2 years ago exactly, probably. It was like August of like 2016.
Like that's a pretty amazing growth rate, you know?
Yeah. I mean,
because that was like
almost
like one of your first like 15 videos, no? Or it was like your 8th video or something?
Let's see. 6, probably 6. Probably, yeah, because Mother 32, Prophet, Sub 37, JDXI.
Maybe when was the Wolf Akai the Akai?
Akai Timberwolf was a little bit later.
Oh, okay.
A little bit later. Oh yeah, I think that's how it went. Yeah, I think it went 5. Number 5 was the SV1, and number 6 was the Tempest or something. Oh, something like that.
So yeah, you like really shot out of the gate then.
It was growing slowly. I didn't have, what it was like I had good videos, but I didn't have a catalog. So what happened was people came and they saw one video that they liked and they realized that like my channel was like one video every 3 months. At that point, it was like, yeah, because I did a video in like early or late January, and that was a Sub Mother 32, sorry. And then it was like January and like February, March, I did one. April, May, I did one. June, July, I did one. Like August, like I was hitting like 6 videos plus like 2 videos of me playing. I was like 8 or 9 videos after almost, 8, 9 months on the channel. Like it hadn't been very many. But I got to the first 100 pretty quick. The 1,000 came after 1 year, about.
Yeah, that's like for me too.
After that, it was like, oh, I felt like the videos weren't getting shared at all. It was okay because I didn't mind not getting the videos shared, but it was just this constant like, it was just constantly thinking that,
that's like
was it going to work?
Yeah. I remember that.
And then it did.
It's like Tim Schmoyer, I think, too. He has like, there's like that one video where he talks about, it's kind of like the doldrums or something. Like your channel follows this pattern where it's like shoots up and then it'll go down really like I feel like that's kind of where I'm at right now. Like things seem a little stagnant, but then like once you can break through that, like that valley, like that's where it's, I don't know, understand like what that is about. I don't know if that's algorithm. I don't know if that's the trend. I don't know, but
I feel like if you can do 2 things a year, and this is just my kind of self-analyzing, it's like you have to do 2 things a year that move the needle for anything, right?
Sure.
And it doesn't seem like that because it seems like you've got to put out stuff all the time. But what it is the one thing carries you for a few months, right?
Yeah.
Like I did the Great Synth Mysteries, and I knew that once that came out, I said, I got to drop a video next week. Like, come rain or shine, I got to drop a video.
You got that momentum.
I got the momentum going, right? And I saw that video just did crazy good. So I was like, I got to drop a video the next week. And I should have done a video the week after that, but it was just like, I couldn't follow. I was too tired. So I couldn't do it. But like, I can still see the momentum of that video helping out. And that video came out, I guess it was like maybe almost like 2 months ago or something.
Yeah, it was pretty
Something
recent.
Like
Yeah.
It wasn't super long ago, but like, I've had to have 5,000 views on the video I just did on Tuesday for a thing that that has nothing is associated with that video really, right? Like there's nothing in the description about like synths. The title is not about, it's a talking head video. That's a lot of views, and I can still say that that's coming from, the few like 100 views a day that I get for the Great Synth Mysteries video. So it's like you just have to do that like a couple times a year to get your channel like moving again, right? Where it's like, like a lot of channels have that. It's on different levels, right? Like if you do a video that gets 1 million views, but your channel only has like, I don't know. Yeah, have you ever seen a channel?
Yeah,
I've seen this before.
Where it's like 1,000 subs or something, and they have like
1,000 subs, but they had 1 million view video, and you're just like, what?
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. It's like, but they didn't know how to capitalize off that at all.
Yeah.
1 million view video. At this point, I mean, I couldn't imagine what would happen if I could get 1 million view video, which is real hard. Like, there's literally, I feel like it's Andrew Huang has a couple. And I mean,
those are like
maybe
legacy videos though too. No, those are like ones that have been percolating on the internet for a long time.
Yeah. And I know Red Means Recording has a few, and he talked about it in that special where he did the one video and it was like that changed everything.
Yeah.
So, and that's just kind of how it is. Like you get the video, and it goes. So I don't really think. The valleys and they do happen, but you can't hit a home run every time, right? I guess we're not all what's his name,
Casey
Neistat or Jake Pauls or who does a video that gets like who I recently found, who I didn't realize was this guy named Shane Dawson.
That sounds very familiar.
Yeah, he's pretty like long time like on the channel, on YouTube or in general, and like he released a video. I saw it the other day. He released a video and it was like 12 hours or 9 hours later, and it had like 3 million views, and I was like,
Whoa.
wow, like, what do you do when like that's your life? Like, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't even know if I would want that to happen. Maybe for a year. Maybe I'll take the money and I'll quit or something. But like, we'll see. I mean, it's always kind of it's always a journey for me of saying like, well, especially when people are like, dude, we love your channel. Like, I've been here, we love it, and I'm just like, and it's weird because I'm like, but what have I been doing? Like, I don't. Coming in from a first person perspective, it's like I've just been making the videos. Like I didn't tell you anything really about myself. Like people were still like,
well, I didn't know your first name. I don't know if you've ever.
That's a thing.
Yeah, I don't know if you ever introduced yourself.
I've never said it.
Yeah,
I've never brought it up.
That's like the whole
and that's
mystery
thing.
of it too. It's like,
well, that's a weird thing. Is like people. And even it was funny. I was doing the div kit, and he's like, "Can I tell people your real name? Can I introduce you as like your real name?" I was like, "Yeah, that's cool." Like, because people always like Noir, like Noir.
yeah.
And I think it's fine, but it was a personal thing at the beginning to just kind of separate a character from, you know, it was sort of the same thing as like, he's not James Rolfe when he's the angry video game Noir. You know, he's there is like no name really associated with him. It's just, which is good. It creates this character of an angry person you might have known who played video games.
Yeah.
Right? It's not Max or Mike. It's just it's a guy. So yeah, I thought of making it that way, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I actually come and talk about like real history things at some point.
Yeah, I guess it's all part of the discovery of what you're doing with your channel.
Yeah, I think I'll do a video about that music video that does lie dormant on the channel.
Yeah, I'd be curious about that.
Yeah, it's a good piece. It's a fun, interesting piece of music, and it has a video to go along with it. And I think I can spin the story a certain way. If you watch the video, if you were to watch the music video, you would be like, whoa, like he was wearing, this is 2009, and he's wearing sunglasses in this video. And he never, it's like this weird thing. It's like, it's always been me since before the channel. It's not like a new, I was so skinny then. So bring up that maybe. We'll see. I don't know yet.
Yeah, you'll have to see. Yeah, I think, I don't know. I think there's like that personal, like the personal connection, you know, that you can put out there that's always like really valuable and really resonates with people.
Yeah, I know that people appreciate when I can just kind of talk more off the cuff.
Yeah.
But that's the hardest video for me to do. That's why it seems like, oh, it was just no work at all. But for me, it's like me sitting there watching the jump cuts and me sitting there listening to what I'm saying. That's like way harder. Like, because I do a lot of takes. I use a teleprompter when I'm shooting the videos.
Really?
Like,
wow.
I'm reading. Yeah.
I would have never thought that.
Yeah.
But that's like improv, though, that video you're referring to.
Exactly. Yeah. I had to get the teleprompter because like that's way easier than people think, like than writing notes.
Well, then because
then I'm looking at the notes. Yeah, then I'm looking at the notes, and it's easier to just. I feel like it's better if I can look and engage, and I can focus on like not looking like really like lame, like hi guys, like this is a thing, like it's this is a thing. So I had to kind of make those choices, like talk more off the cuff or try to engage more, engage less, but get to look away a lot because I'm thinking about what I'm trying to say, and I don't know if that's as good as being very like direct. So there's always that There's always that random baby crying outside. Great segue.
So where can people find you online? I mean, I know where to find you, but
yeah, I mean, you can go to Noir at Blanc Vie on YouTube, obviously. I like Instagram a lot more than Twitter, so you can find me on Instagram at the same Noir at Blanc Vie, because I actually post some things to IGTV there, which
that's
are
right.
exclusive to IGTV. Yeah, you can find me all over the internet on different companies' videos if you watch hard enough and listen hard enough. So it's always a mystery. You never know if it's me or if it's not.
I'm going to be looking now, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of funny when people notice, so. We'll see what the future has to hold for a channel. I look forward to seeing what it is when I look back in 5 years and seeing where it is then.
Me too.
And from where it is now. Cool.
Cool.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Steven. This has been so great. Well, that about does it for the Noir at Blanc Vie 2-part series on the 424 Recording podcast. It was a pleasure having Steven on the pod, and he gave me a lot to think about in terms of my channel and where I want to go with it, and I hope our conversation gives you a lot to think about in your creative journey as well. If you want to check out Steven's channel, it's youtube.com/Noir at Blanc Vie, and he's also on Instagram and Twitter at Noir at Blanc Vie as well. This is Mike from 424recording.com. Godspeed, my friends. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to subscribe and review the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you want to support the podcast, you can check out patreon.com/424recording. Appreciate you, my friends. And make sure you do something you want to do today, okay?
Hey mom, keep it down. Try to rock it in the basement of the crowd. Call the cops.